Good morning, friends. This is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope you're having a fabulous morning, and I hope your temps are comfortable where you are at. This morning, I think we're up to like mid-80s, and that's okay, but it's going to just keep rising today. It's supposed to get up into the 90s again. It's supposed to be 1 or 2 degrees lower than yesterday, but hot is hot. And as I shared yesterday in the video that I posted, we finally succumbed to, we got to get the air conditioners in because it's simply too hot to bear. And so last night when we went to bed, we actually slept. We slept really well and got some rest. And even my husband woke up and he said, I feel so much better. So we may not want the electric bill, but we do want rest so that we can maintain decent health. You don't get enough sleep, you don't do well in a variety of areas in your life. So, but one of the things with putting air conditioners in, at least for us, not everybody, we don't take it from the shed where we store it and put it right in the window. We did for a long time, and then we discovered we sneezed a lot. So what we do now is we clean them before we put them in the window. If we need to mid-season, if we start sneezing, we will take them apart and clean them again. And then at the end of the year, we'll clean them again. And I know it's tedious. My husband does most of it, and he hates doing it. But if you clean it before it goes in the shed, the cleaning aspect will be easier come spring. So why would we need to clean it after having it in storage? Well, we store it in the shed so the temperatures fluctuate. It's in its own box. We cover them up, but dust does get into stuff. So you kind of have to do that and think about all the dust that might come through the windows, the pollen. That's why. So I'm kind of glad we waited because we didn't get all that spring pollen coming through. But we still, we want to make sure they stay clean so we stay healthy. Now, I shared that I came out and I took some pictures of the flowers, the herbs, and some of the vegetables that are looking really pretty. I got some white eggplant. I've never had white eggplant, so it'll be fun, but they're small. So, and then I have some lemon cucumbers. I heard that they're not necessarily great, so if they're not, I'm pickling them. So, what I'm holding in my hand today, this is bee balm. And as you can see, it's a beautiful, beautiful flower. You can also see from the leaves, let's see if I can get a real pretty leaf here. You can also see that the leaves are quite beautiful and they have that beautiful red tinge to it. And the reason I pick not just the flowers, because a lot of times when I harvest anything, even my roses and stuff, I trim right to the upper leaf. But these leaves are actually a good medicinal herb. So these work great for the bees. And you might ask, well, why are you cutting them down? Because if we prune them, more come out. And so, yeah, I get to enjoy seeing the bees doing their job, going to all the different flowers, helping to pollinate the vegetables. They're doing their job. Butterflies come out. This morning I've seen a lot of butterflies flying around, and they attract hummingbirds. And that's one of our favorite birds, although we like almost any bird that comes our way. So what I want to share with you are the benefits, okay? And let's see. One of the things that you can do, and this is, well, let me first start out saying that I knew there were more benefits, and what I use it for is for headaches. I might wake up in the middle of the night with a headache, and and then I can't get to sleep, and I think there's the headaches that I might wake up with might not be the migraine, but it could be just a stress headache. So what I do is I take a bee balm mix, and what I do is I cut the flowers off and save the leaves as well. I dehydrate them, and then what I do is I blend them like in a coffee maker. And I blend them so that I have this mixture. And all I have to do is put a scoop in the tea thing and the tea infuser, and then I just let it steep for about 12-15 minutes with some chamomile. And then like after I'm done drinking that tea, I'm able to go back to bed and rest. So that's why I've been using it. But what I've learned might explain why I do so well. It's not just the chamomile. So let's see. One of its one of the things you need to know with bee balm, and I have one in a pot right now. I have to water this thing all the time. My other two bee balms are in an area that get plenty of water, but they're not in a pot. When you have plants in pots, you have to water them a little bit more, or most especially if they get drainage. But it's really good for them to have drainage, because otherwise they get waterlogged, and then you can kill your plant that way. So just make sure that they're well watered. Now, the neat thing is they call it Sorona. Oh, I can't even say the way. It's Sororan, Sororan, and they call it an oregano. And so you can use these leaves just like you would use oregano. So if you're allergic to oregano, you can use these leaves. And where can you get bee balm? The plant you can get at almost any garden center. You can get it the big box stores when they have them. But if you have a garden center near you, check them out. And that's where I got mine. We have a local greenhouse, and that's where I got mine this year, and it is absolutely stunning. So I think I'm going to have a picture that I will share. Now let's talk about some benefits, and these are awesome benefits. It can be used as an antiseptic for skin irritation, wounds, rashes. And what you would do is you would take the leaf and crush it off, and maybe even put some oil with it, make a poultice with it, and then put it on that wound or whatever. And stuff like this is more tolerable to people who just don't like other things that sting. And I know that like even for myself, I don't like things to sting. I have a very high pain tolerance, but that doesn't mean I want to inflict pain. But if you have pain and you have to feel it, sometimes that's part of it. But with something like this, you could combine it with some honey and apply it to your skin, or aloe vera, the ointment from the plant leaf. You can combine those together and do a nice medicinal thing for irritation on your arms and stuff, or wherever, or your wounds. This is what I learned, and I thought this was interesting, is you can use it as a mouthwash, a mouth freshener. So you can chew some, it can freshen your breath, and you can use it as a mouthwash. Now, I don't use mouthwash all the time. I just brush my teeth, and yeah, I do make my own toothpaste. But sometimes, like in the morning, at night, I happen to have dry mouth a lot, so more so in the summer. And I do hydrate quite a bit. But sometimes I'll get up in the middle of the night and I have that dry, I think I must be in mouth breather or something at night. I don't know. I've never videotaped myself. So I get up and I will do a mouthwash. So I'm thinking about making a mouthwash with this, and just to see how it is. And it's also good for dental health. And what I read was that if you have different dental issues, you can use this as a poultice or whatever. I would personally, because I don't like stuff in my mouth, but I would probably make the tea and use that to potentially help with dental issues. I'm very grateful that I don't have it, but knowing that I can make a mouthwash, you know what? It might help. Again, it's good to help freshen your breath. This is something new to me, and this might explain why it calms me at night when I need it for a headache, whether it's a stress, migraine, or whatnot, is that it helps with depression and anxiety and a few things like that. So I'm like, this is a win-win. No wonder I can rest after. So I'm like, okay, I need to consume this a little bit more. The other nice thing is, and I didn't know this either, it can help with your respiratory. So you drink a cup of tea, and if you have respiratory issues during cold season, flu season, and whatever season we have, it might relieve some of those symptoms. Now, I need to say here, and I might say it again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, I am an herbalist through experience. I try to research all I can, but even with herbs, even if you go to an herbalist, a naturopath, or a physician, sometimes what might work for most might not work for you. So keep this in mind, that plants are here for us to use and enjoy and to benefit our health. It's not just the fruit and vegetables. It's the herbs and some of the flowers. Like I shared about the daylilies a week or 2 weeks ago, I think, the benefits of daylilies. And to me, finding out more things that are good with bee balm is exciting for me. Now, it can help with colds, headaches, and sore throat. I already shared that. So do the tea with a little bit of honey, and you might find that your sore throat might be soothed a little bit. Another thing it helps with is allergies and respiratory issues. But respiratory can be a result of cold and flus. It can be a result of allergies. So you might find that it will help you. Now, I didn't know this, and I'm going to look into how to make this, and I'm assuming that it would be a compress of sort or a tea again. But it says that it helps with vaginal yeast infections. So if you're somebody that suffers from that, this might help. And I mentioned that the leaves and the flowers can help, but the leaves itself, if you just infuse the leaves, these beautiful, beautiful leaves, that can help with, let's see, the leaves are the part that help with the stress. So before the season is over, I'll be harvesting as many leaves as possible and putting them in a different container, because right now I harvest the flower. I'm going to go in and dehydrate these. I dehydrate the leaves and the flowers, and then once they get just where they're dry, I put them in another jar. Oftentimes I'll put it through a food grinder. That way it's all mixed up already. But I will probably harvest the leaves now just for that purpose. Again, that is for stress relieving properties. I already mentioned viral, dental infections. If you want your water to taste a little bit different, what you can do, please wash your flowers, okay? Gently with some cool water. I mean, I wouldn't take the sprayer to it. These are very delicate petals. Oh, I offered one to our chickens. They were brutal. I'm not giving them my bee balm anymore. They were brutal. So, but yeah, wash it a little bit in some cool water. You know, you can kind of do that, and then let it steep in your cold water. Put some ice in there, and it'll add a little bit of a flavor. When I drink tea, I get that flavor, so it's a lovely flavor. Let's see. Now, it also says that it can calm a urinary tract. It can calm the irritated urinary tract, and every woman I know has dealt with UTIs and stuff like that. Will it help? I don't know, but I'll tell you, the next time I get one, I'm going to try it to see if it works. I have other things I try, and they work for the most part, but not always. So I'm going to try this and see if it's better, because you know what? It tastes a lot better than some stuff. You can add it raw to your salads. Isn't that cool? And it's interesting. I use it as a tea, and I never thought to put it in my salads. And when I make salads, I like to have a color. And a few weeks ago, when I did the video about daylilies, I actually take the petals of a daylily and I put them in my salads. No, I don't do it every day, but I do enjoy them. And daylilies taste like lettuce. And you shouldn't consume like a whole bowl of them. That's not healthy. And but that brings me to the point that too much of a good thing can be bad for you. So even with this, you don't want to just drink bee balm tea all day long. You need to mix up your vegetables and fruit for nutrition purposes. Maybe some would have a hamburger every single day or a steak every day, and I do love steak myself. But you need to spread it out so that you can balance your proteins, and with vegetables, get your nutrients over the course of a week. One time I met a girl, and she was telling me she went on a diet to help her, and her nutritionist told her to get peppers, buy them in big bags, do this and do that. And she was telling me, she goes, I'm throwing the fruit away. I said, why are you throwing the fruit away? She goes, well, my nutritionist told me that I need to do this. These are the foods she said to do. And I said, okay, but why are you throwing them away? She goes, I buy them in the bags, like she said, and they're going bad. I said, that's your problem. You buy too much that you can't consume. So there's ways you can dehydrate your peppers. If you find a great deal on peppers, take them out of those bags because they will go bad. The sweat and stuff ruins them. Take them out, refrigerate. I refrigerate mine. They do better in the refrigerator for me. But I also only keep one or two, and then I dehydrate them. And then I can put them in my foods and stuff. So she was telling me all the foods. I said, you're spending money like crazy, and that's going to discourage you from dieting. So I said, just when you go to the store, just buy a few. If you can't preserve them, dehydrate them in your oven or whatever, then just go back and get more. It doesn't mean I don't think she meant for you to just consume peppers in this big, the bags, there's a lot of peppers. I love peppers. I can't eat that many that quickly before they go bad. And that's the problem with our grocery stores. A lot of our food coming in now, the food is going bad quickly, which is kind of unfortunate. But that's why farm stands or growing your own fruit and vegetables is beneficial. Well, back to the bee balm. Okay, I mentioned about garnishing our salads. It can also be used for seasoning your meats. So if you marinate your meats and stuff, you can put that in there and marinate too. Or just put it on the side and enjoy it as a garnish to your meat. It said something about it's used for association with when you have signs of coldness, like chills and fevers. But those are things that are attributed to a virus, like a flu and others. And I'm sure there's other illnesses that can contribute to as well. Of course, your specialist would be able to better determine what your needs are. And please keep in mind, a lot of your allopathic physicians do not promote herbal stuff because that's not what they studied. So you can always see a holistic physician to help you with those kind of decisions. This was quite interesting. It helps with Alzheimer's. I thought, isn't that fascinating? A lot of us know people who have Alzheimer's, but if it helps with Alzheimer's, can it help with other things? I'm always looking at that kind of thing because brain fog is a side effect of Lyme disease, but sometimes people are misdiagnosed with Alzheimer's when in fact they have Lyme. Don't banter on the comments about your viewpoints on this. It's just something I learned, and I'm not here to argue about your view, my view, whatever. That's what I learned, and that's what I read. So because I experienced brain fog, that's why when they said Alzheimer's, that's what triggered me to say, maybe I should be drinking this once a day. Not just when I have a headache or having a hard time sleeping. And it's a wonderful remedy for burns. Now I use aloe vera gel from the aloe vera plant. I've used honey, local honey, on burns, and cold water. Of course, we should always use cold water. But with this, I believe if you make a compress out of it, I think you'll find that it'll work. And maybe with the compress, add a little aloe vera in it. Crush it up, crush the leaves up, and just add a little bit of honey in there, or the aloe vera. And just from what I know about honey and aloe vera, you might find that it heals quickly. It can reduce anxiety. I shared that earlier, and I deal with anxiety for a variety of reasons. And for the most part, I see it coming on, so I try to control it. But sometimes I have to kind of like sit back and breathe, because the anxiety can be too much. I used to be ashamed of having this, and I'm not so much anymore. It's just who I am. And other people will tell you, "I'll just chill down." You know what? Those are the people you don't need in your life, right? So if I can use bee balm, that might alleviate some of my anxiety. Maybe in my morning tea that I might drink with oregano and thyme, add a little bit of this in there, and it might just be that final touch for me. It helps with insomnia. Like I shared, that tea I make at night, I sleep better. So I can attest that it does work with insomnia. And because I might wake up, it might be a stress headache or whatever, I honestly believe it works with anxiety or your stress levels, helps you sleep, helps alleviate headaches. These are some benefits that I've gained from it. And so if you have inflammation, you can mash up the leaves and reduce the inflammation a little bit. So I found it interesting for women. Let's see, I think there was one other thing. Yes, it's used for relieving menstrual cramps. Okay, you guys may not be interested, but women who have these problems may want their spasms that happen that they would like to alleviate. So ladies, if this is something that you experience, it might be worth trying. Now, will your natural food store have it? I don't know. I was at mine yesterday, but I didn't go to the herb section because there was nothing new that I wanted or needed. But I did need some new honey, and they get local honey in from somebody who harvests it. And so I went in and got a couple jars, big jars, because I use honey in everything. And now that I'm making some mead for some of my tinctures that I make, I want to make sure I have plenty of local honey on hand. I didn't buy that much, and I don't make a lot of mead. I have one partly done, and the other one's coming along a little bit later. It takes a while for those to actually be done, but I don't drink it for pleasure. You know what would be cool? Is to make a wine or a mead out of this. Then I might, no. But when I make tinctures and stuff, that might work really well. See what I'm saying is, herbalists, we tend to take a look at the plant. We look at what values they have. Every new weed that grows in my garden, I take a picture and I try to find what it is. Does it have medicinal value? Does it have any benefit? If it's a viney thing choking up all my other flowers, they're gone. But others, I take a look at what's the benefit. I pulled, what was it? I pulled a weed out of our garden yesterday because it was some fleabane. And there is some medicinal benefits to it, very few, more of a respiratory thing. But because my husband's allergies and mine, when I play with it, I start sneezing, I threw it away. Because that's the only benefit it has for those who don't have the other issues. So, that being said, I pulled that yesterday, and I pulled a bunch of the other viney things that were choking some of my beautiful flowers. We don't want that. So, those of us who love our flowers, love our herbs, love nature, what we're trying to do is we take a look at the benefits we've already derived from them, or if it's a new one, we experiment with it and we try it on the first reason. Like when I started oregano and thyme, it was when I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and it has some medicinal, antimicrobial, antibacterial properties in them that help. I was still on strong medications. I was on a lot of medications. And so drinking a tea like that, tea tends to calm me. So having it while I was dealing with that was a benefit. I still have it. I make a mix that I call my Lyme disease blend, and it works fabulous. I have another blend for illnesses and stuff, and sometimes I just mix one up on the go. Now, one of my other therapies is just coming out in the gardens. I take such joy to come out here. I check on the vegetables. That's excitement. You know, when your gardens are like, oh, I got tomatoes, oh, I got this. I got some white eggplant going. I've never had white eggplant. But what I really enjoy is seeing the flowers, and they change as they go. And you know, the yellow lily, my husband and I were out weeding one of our gardens and where our yellow lily is. And we got back there, and it just, the aroma is just so beautiful. And we had pink lilies, but the yellow lily has the strongest, most fragrant smell, and it's beautiful. And then I go around and I just admire the flowers. That to me is therapy. I come out barefoot. I have to watch out for the bees because the bees are all over the ground where the clover is, and the clover comes right up after you mow anyway, and it's too hot for me to get out here and mow, so it's got to wait. And so we get out here, and I go barefoot, and then I start going through. Sadly, with this heat, a lot of the plants are feeling the way we feel. You kind of want to put an air conditioner out here for them. Not happening. So I come out, and that's my moment to reflect and be thankful for what I have worked on. And my gardens are work, but sometimes our jobs, it doesn't matter if you're somebody who's at home working on gardens, sewing, whatever your job is. And even as a wife, I try really hard to be a good wife. Yesterday I was cranky. I can be totally transparent. I am not afraid of being transparent. I was cranky, so it was better that I stay away from him because of other situations, plus on top of being extremely warm. But coming out here barefoot, going through, sometimes taking pictures of the flowers, smelling the different aromas, it's just one of those things that brings me great joy. It's too bad we can't do this through the winter, but I have other things that I work on during the winter and stuff like that. So one thing that I thought about, and I told my husband, had I known how beautiful these smelled when we got married, I think I would have done a bouquet in bee balm. It was so typical to have roses and daisies and all that other stuff in a bridal bouquet. I would do bee balm if, I'm not planning on getting married or anything like that, but if we had that, this is what I would want. I would want a bouquet of bee balm. It just smells that beautiful, and it's a gorgeous flower. You add a few daisies or a few other brilliant flowers in here, maybe some calla lilies and stuff. It would be a gorgeous, gorgeous bouquet. Maybe that's somebody who's getting married. You can do an affordable one because you can get calla lilies at your gardener's area, and you can get bee balm at the garden, and you can make your own, bouquet. I'm gonna have to bring it in and dehydrate that soon. But anyways, I wanted to come in because as I came out and I saw all these blooming, I had to harvest them. And for those of you who are saying, but aren't those good for bees? Yes, they're good for the bees, they're good for the hummingbirds, and they're good for the butterflies. And I think I already shared that. Yeah, so why would I cut these? Because the more you cut them, the more blooms come out. And when I cut these, there's still tons of blooms on my plant. So I'm excited, and I take pride in being able to do this because I don't have to use other means for my health. And knowing that this has already benefited me in some areas, it's worth me trying on some others. Like I'm going to make an ointment with it to see if one of us, if we get an infection or something, and I'll just make a little bit and just try it. And if it works, you got nothing to lose. And that's how herbalists work. We practice with what we have, or we use somebody else's experience, use it for our own needs, and then change it up for what works for us. So you may find different recipes from different people because of how they use it. And just a reminder, I am not a doctor. I am not here to diagnose. And so even if you ask something, I can't diagnose you. You need to speak to whomever you're comfortable with, a physician, herbalist, whomever you choose, and they will help you. Now, if your doctor can't do herbs, respect that. And it's kind of sad because I like to have a one place to go, but not anymore. It's all very different. So I hope everything was informative for you, and I hope that this excites you for things that you can do on your own. And I don't know if I said, because I have allergies to different things. I'm dehydrating a variety of herbs right now. There's, and I don't know if I already said this, but I'm allergic to basil. Cilantro I can't even go near. But if I bake and stuff, my allergist taught me how to work with that. But if you want to find out if you're allergic to something, sometimes rubbing the herb, the leaves, all along your arm, if it creates irritation, you might have an allergy. And you can check with an allergist and get the testing, and you just bring the herb with you. That's what I did, is I brought a whole slew of herbs with me, and she did a whole thing. So if this is a repeat of what I said earlier, I apologize, because this is my second take. Something happened, so I had to start all over again. Anyways, I hope that you have a fabulous day. I'm looking forward to getting inside where it's a little cooler, because it's starting to get stifling for me. But fortunately, we have a nice breeze here in the gazebo, but out in the sun, it's a little testy of my patience. But inside, it'll be nice and cool. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you truly are blessed with what I shared today. And may God bless you.